Operation Epic Fury.
I advise the representative of the United States to be polite. That smug little line from Iran's ambassador lasted about 5 seconds before America snapped back and ripped the mask off the whole regime. Tim Walz didn't blink. He crushed them in public. I'm not going to dignify this from a regime that has killed tens of thousands of its own people. And while Tehran tried to posture at the UN, its own hardliners were screaming traitor and hypocrite at Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in the street. That's not strength. That's a terror state cracking in real time, and it gets worse. See, this matters because Iran is not just throwing a tantrum in some distant chamber. Iran is threatening one of the most critical shipping lanes on Earth, hammering at energy flows, global commerce, and the price pressure American families feel first and hardest. In the Strait of Hormuz, a tanker got struck as President Trump arrived in Turkey, and ships caught audio of an Iranian threat barking, "This is the last warning, and you'll be targeted." That's not diplomacy. That is a cornered regime trying to spook the world because Donald Trump gutted its leverage. And the sickness does not stop overseas. Jackson Hinkle, born under the protection of the American flag, flew to Tehran and led "Down with USA" chants with regime loyalists before posting "Long live Iran" online. Name that for what it is: open moral rot. The Iranian regime has American blood on its hands, and Hinkle treated anti-American propaganda like a personal branding opportunity. Foreign enemies and domestic traitors feed each other. Trump's hardline matters because weakness worship always gets Americans hurt. And when tankers get hit in Hormuz and hostile regimes bark orders at ships, you better ask one hard question. If the digital system freezes tomorrow, how much of your money is even real? Everybody cheers AI and cloud finance until a keystroke locks the gate. What if your account gets hacked? What if your wealth gets erased by code? Noble Gold Investments gives you something real: physical gold and silver, a coin you can hold, a bar you can stack, something that doesn't live on a server, can't be frozen by a keystroke, and can't be erased by code. It can be shipped to your door or placed in a tax-advantaged retirement account. Go to nextnewsgold.com, mention my name for a free 10-ounce U.S. Independence silver bar when you open a new qualified account. Own real metal while weak regimes fail. Now here's the detail that seals it. Iran's rulers want negotiations abroad and death to America at home. That split eroded and exploded right at Khamenei's funeral procession when Abbas Araghchi got branded a traitor and a hypocrite by the very machine he serves. So I'm going to pull up the reactions and keep that contradiction in your head. The mullahs beg for breathing room in one room and then whip up hate in the next. That's panic and not power. Here's the moment at the United Nations.
I have one word only. I advise to the representative of the United States to be polite. It will be better for yourself and the country you represented. Thank you.
The representative of the United States has asked for the floor to make a further statement.
Frankly, I'm not going to dignify this with another response, especially as this representative sits here in this body representing a regime that has killed tens of thousands of its own people and imprisoned many more simply for wanting freedom from your tyranny. Thank you, Mr. President.
So after the smug UN warning, the regime got a reality check. Now, what's happening back at home? In Iran, where hardliners reportedly turned on their own foreign minister and branded him a traitor, Iran is eating itself. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reportedly attacked and forced to withdraw from Khamenei's funeral procession after hardline regime loyalists branded him a traitor. The regime wants negotiations abroad and death to America at home. Check this out. So while the mullahs lecture the world at the UN and brawl in their own streets, the threat is moving to open water. New reports of a tanker strike in the Strait of Hormuz and chilling audio warning ships to turn around. A tanker been struck in the strait as President Trump arriving in Turkey. No casualties reported. Here's the audio of an Iranian threatening ships in the strait.
And another reported tanker strike in the Strait of Hormuz. We think 2 have been struck. It might be more, but we'll hang on to 2 for the moment. A tanker struck by an unknown projectile trying to transit the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently another one made a U-turn and turned around. No casualties reported. Vessels are being advised to transit with caution. Meanwhile, from Fox Business, they've obtained audio of an Iranian threatening the ships in the strait, and here is how that sounded in English.
This is the last warning. This is last warning. This is last warning. You are running danger. Don't put your life in danger. You are ordered to alter course, to port us immediately. Alter course, to port us immediately and use the south of Larakaina to exit. If you disobey, you will be targeted. This is the Navy out.
Okay, Rebecca Heinrichs now, senior fellow.
And that's the danger when Tehran thinks intimidation still works, but the propaganda machine isn't stopping at missiles, because now an American influencer on the stage in Iran leading anti-American chants. American social media influencer Jackson Hinkle led Death to America chants in front of a crowd of several thousand Iranian regime supporters during a rally in Iran.
Down with USA! USA! Down with USA! USA! Down with USA! USA!
Wow. Down with USA. Whipping up the crowd. Next, even more of that spectacle with Hinkle shouting down to the USA in Tehran. Another angle of that.
میخواد به زبان خودش بگه من سوال کردم حالا که میگه USA چه don't be USA درسته؟ به زبان خودش بگید کیف کنه دست همه بالا موبایل همه روشن پیغام میدان انقلاب به دولت آمریکا وگرنه آمریکایی هم پیدا میشه که اینطوری آزاده باشه دست همه بالا ببینیم خودش چجوری میگه شما جوابشو بدید
Down with USA! Down with USA! Down with USA! Down with Zionists! Down with Zionists! Down with USA! Down with Israel!
So if there's any doubt where he stands after those chants, he erased it himself. Next, he puts it in writing, straight up post praising the regime. Long live Iran. Yep, pretty clear where he stands. It says plenty about where he sides. Meanwhile, the stakes are raising at sea with fresh reports that Iran may have fired anti-ship missiles and drones at U.S. Navy vessels in the Sea of Oman. Iran reportedly fired anti-ship cruise missiles and drones at U.S. Navy vessels. Reports indicate at least 2 anti-ship cruise missiles, multiple drones launched at American warships. No word of interceptions, impacts, or damage. No U.S. confirmation of the attack. It would be Iran's answer to tonight's massive strikes on its coastline and the revoked oil waiver. And from regime fanboys online to possible attacks, it's getting serious now. The response breaking reports that the United States is conducting massive strikes on Iran from insider paper.
Whoa. Whoa.
So it appears that President Trump is going to have to finish the job himself. So the big insult in this whole spectacle didn't come from a missile or a drone. It came from an American, Jackson Hinkle, standing in Tehran and leading chants of down with USA for a regime that has murdered dissidents, jailed its own people, and backed killers with American blood on their hands. Then he posted long live Iran, as if treason by brand deal makes him edgy. It makes him useful. useful to the mullahs, useful to the anti-American propaganda, useful to every thug who wants America ashamed, hesitant, and weak. Pair that with Iran's ambassador sneering, "Be polite" at the UN, and the whole picture locks in. Tehran is split, humiliated, reckless, and so desperate it now needs homegrown American grifters to clap on cue. President Trump understands this game better than the foreign policy class and spent years inflating Iran into some unbeatable chess master. He hit the regime, shattered the media's Hormuz panic script, and forced the weakness into daylight. Now the mullahs are lashing out at ships, barking empty threats, humiliating themselves at the UN, and turning on their own foreign minister in public. That's what a busted regime does when real pressure lands. So here's the line. No bowing in Hormuz, no apologies at the UN, no free pass for American agitators who chant against their own country in Tehran. Maximum pressure on the regime, total scrutiny on anybody in America running interference for it. If Jackson Hinkle wants to wave Iran's flag and scream "down with the USA," let the country see him clearly and judge him accordingly. Drop your take below and share this with one person who still thinks Tehran is strong, and watch who rushes to defend the indefensible. And I want to make sure you stay on the cutting edge of the news as it happens. And you can do so by simply texting the number, texting raw feed to 844-840-4963. And we'll send you a text message when those notifications from YouTube never arrive. And celebrate the wins with the Next News Network by going to the merch shelf below this video.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.